Code Talkers. Introduction. The date is February 19, 1945. A group of U.S. Marines jumped from a landing craft. They struggled through the surf to the beach of Iwo Island in the Pacific Ocean, not far from Japan. The Marines are greeted by a hail of gunfire from Japanese forces. Unsure of what to do or where to go, the group leader radios his commander. All will be lost if the enemy learns of the group plans, but the Marines have a secret weapon. They have a team of Navajo radiomen trained to transmit message in a code no one else can understand. Philip Johnston's bright idea. In 1942, World War II was raging across the globe. Many nations, including the United States, had been swept into battle. Communication was vital to keeping troops safe and ready to do battle. However, the U.S. military had a serious problem. The enemy was getting hold of coded messages sent between units and decoding them. The Japanese were especially good at breaking U.S. codes. In some cases, this led to many American casualties. Newspaper stories about the American military radio code struggles caught the attention of Philip Johnston. Johnston had lived in the Navajo reservation as a child and learned the Navajo language. He knew that few people outside of the tribe understood Navajo. He also knew that Navajo was a hidden language, meaning it was only spoken and had no written symbols. These features made it perfect for top secret message. Johnston contacted the military about using a code based on Navajo. They agreed on a test. If Johnson could show that using Navajo was a fast and secure way to transmit message, the U.S. military would try it. Mystery message. Sending hidden message date back to ancient times. Early methods used steganography, a way of hiding or disguising a message. Only the sender and the recipient knew how the message was hidden. Sometimes messages were hidden with invisible ink, which seemed to disappear once it is applied. Later, heat or chemical would make the ink visible, and the message clear. All the steganographic methods were more unusual. One used by ancient Greeks involved shaving a message head, tattooing words there, and then waiting for his hair to grow back and cover the message. The messenger then traveled to the recipient, who would shave his head to read the message. Most modern coding systems use cryptographic methods. With these methods, the message itself is not hidden, but its meaning is. Even if the message falls into the wrong hands, the reader must know the code in order to understand it. Ciphertext. How does cryptography work? Here are two different ways to encode the message: send, help, now. Swapping. A method called the Kaiser cipher involves swapping out each letter in the message for another, used by the ancient Roman Emperor Julius Caesar. It involves swapping letters by simply shifting the alphabet. Here, each letter will shift 3 letters to the left. Send help now becomes Pekka Ebim Clutter. KLT. Scrambling. Another method of coding a message involves scrambling the letters. An example in the Real-Fans cipher. The message is encoded by writing the letters of each word on two or more lines, then putting the lines together. Send help now becomes SNEPNWEDHLO. At the start of World War II, American military cryptographers constantly changed coding techniques. They even tried using coded American slang, but over and over their efforts failed. Many Japanese students had studied in the United States and knew American English. The Japanese code breakers cracked messages almost as quickly as the Americans transmitted them. Why Navajo? The idea of using a native people language was not new. During World War I, the United States had used several native peoples' language to successfully transmit message. So why not use those same codes during World War II? The reason is that after World War I, both Germany and Japan caught on. They sent students to the United States to learn about the different native people language. The U.S. military knew this. However, any student German or Japanese would have had a hard time learning Navajo. It belonged to a different family or language than many other native people language. At the time, little had been written about Navajo. The Marines had confidence that no one outside the country would understand the Navajo code. Communicating in code. Despite a long history of native peoples being mistreated by the United States, Johnson was able to line up 29 men based on their ability to speak Navajo. Earlier, military policies had turned down Navajo recruits if they could not speak English. Now, their ability to speak Navajo was an asset. These soldiers worked with the Field Signal School to come up with a system for coding messages that was based on their language. The coding system had two parts. The first part used the Navajo translation of English words to stand for letters. For example, the Navajo word for beer is "shas", so the word "shas" was used for the letter B. The second part of the system gave new military meaning to a list of 211 Navajo words. Those Navajo words were often based on the appearance or job of what each one described. For example, "owl" was used for observation plane. The Navajo word for shark meant destroyer. A type of warship, a type of warship. A submarine was called an ironfish. The Navajo Code Talkers Dictionary. Alphabet code. Letter A. Navajo word. Wo-la-chi. Navajo meaning ant. B. Navajo word. Shas. Navajo meaning bear. Letter C. Navajo word. Moasi. Navajo meaning cat. Letter D. Navajo word B. Navajo meaning deer. Letter E. Navajo word dare. Navajo meaning elk. Letter F. Navajo word to start at non E. Navajo meaning fly. Common word battleship. Navajo word lotoso. Navajo meaning whale. Bombs. Commanding officers. Navajo word Ayashi. Commanding officer Ayashi. Has Ginata. Navajo meaning axe. War chief. word dive bomber squad. Navajo word Guinea, Tibet-Lizini. Navajo meaning chicken hawk, black sheep. Navajo people were trained from an early age to listen to and learn the stories of their people. They not only had great memories, they were also exceptional listeners. The Navajo soldiers had no problem learning the new codes. After a brief training period, Johnston's plan was ready to be tested. The Signal Corps did time trials to test how quickly and correctly the Navajo soldiers could transmit radio messages. The results were amazing. The code talkers could do in seconds what other coders needed half an hour to do. The military quickly adopted the code and began training more code talkers. Many Navajo men were eager to serve, and in all, more than 400 Navajo code talkers served brilliantly in the Pacific. During one of the biggest battles, six code talkers sent and received more than 800 messages in the heat of combat without a single error. One of those code talkers, Keith Little, described his contribution to the battle. My weapon was my language, and that language probably saved countless lives. Unsung heroes. The Navajo code talkers played an important role in several battles fought in the Pacific during World War II. The Japanese could not make sense of the code even after Japan surrendered to the United States on September 2, 1945. The code remained a government secret. The code talkers could not talk about their experiments. They remained silent for years. Despite the code talkers' loyalty and patriotism, they returned to hard lives after the war. Jobs were tough to find for many former soldiers, and native peoples often faced discrimination. Navajo and other native peoples in Arizona and New Mexico could not vote until 1948. Those in Utah could not vote until 1957. Finally, in 1968, the secrecy around the Cold Talker program ended. Then the world learned about the amazing contribution of these men. In 2000, President Clinton signed a law awarding medals to the 29 original Navajo Code Talkers. The Navajo language and the code talkers who spoke it led to the success of the code. To this day, it is the only spoken military code that has never been broken.